Got to get those shields out and Elvis in. I need all the help I can get. Now only the hangar bay doors are in the way.
Joanna. What's this? You should find it useful. Time to head upwards. I'll take this bit, you take the other one.
machine contains the Skedar star maps.
Time to head upwards. I'm doing this for your own good. I'm doing this for your own good.
control the bridge, then the ship is ours.
Joanna. I think we've made them angry.